Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the Road to NBA 2K21 series on the PlayStation 5, episode number 70 today. Can't believe we made it this far, but right after my second All-Star game last episode, it's time we get right back to business, as Ferran and I were in the middle of an awesome late season turnaround with the New York Knicks, 7th in the Eastern Conference. As we begin the final weeks of the schedule, 108.3 points per game, that's a top 6 NBA offense, and we've won 9 out of our last 13 games against the Atlantic Division. I know you guys wanted to see the stats and standings at the break, so we'll be highlighting that to begin this episode. We'll be playing in a couple big games this episode, including the Hawks and the Raptors, two teams who hold just higher seeds than us in the East, so we'll have some opportunities to control our own playoff destiny today, if you will. And now looking at the Western Conference, the Nuggets have the top spot currently, with the Clippers still winning games, and that's surprising since Kawhi Leonard's been the sideline for most of the season. Deshaun's Mavericks are also in the thick of it, only 2 games behind Denver. Minnesota added John Wall in free agency and Kuminga in the draft and have been the biggest surprise in the league. Meanwhile, Donnie's Blazers have been the biggest disappointment, unfortunately. They lost 6 straight heading into All-Star Weekend, and Donovan's frustration with the team continues to swell. As we take a gander into the league leaders and rookie stats, we see some familiar faces. We see Dame and Ferran are top 10 in scoring. Anthony Davis is 9th on the boards, while Donnie paces all players for rebounds. I'm still number 1 in the NBA in assists with a comfortable lead, I might add. And Ferran and Donovan are making their marks on the defensive side of the ball, as they always do, leading in steals and blocks respectively. But while we're here, let's talk a little bit about myself for a bit. As you guys know, my player throughout the series has had some reoccurring knee injuries. I had a few minor ones in college back at Texas, and then I tore my MCL in the playoffs in my rookie season, so my knee hasn't always been the most reliable. And we played the 76ers last episode, and later on in the game when it was well in doubt, I banged knees with Jackson Hayes while he was trying to set a screen, and I suffered a bone bruise in my knee. I played on it in the All-Star game, but I might have re-aggravated it some more, and I'll have to miss the Pistons game, our first game back after the All-Star break, and it sucks. I haven't missed a team game since Season 3, but the Knicks wanted me to rest against Detroit in a game that we would probably win even without me, and I wouldn't let it hold me back, however, for long. As you guys know, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the strongest, not the fastest player ever, but my IQ and my toughness is really what set me apart throughout this entire series, and that's a trend that's going to continue as I try to play hurt today to continue to rack up wins and continue to improve our playoff standing going into the final home stretch of the season. Taking a look at some of the rookies here, you're seeing a lot of your players that I added from the UT Martin series. Got a couple more rookies from that series I'm going to add for next season. So it's always nice to have you guys becoming a part of any series I do. I love to have my subscribers always involved. So we do end up winning the Pistons game pretty handily without me. This was the game I rested in, our first game back from the All-Star weekend. And like I said, I haven't missed a game in over 2 seasons, so definitely kind of sucks, but at the same token, it's what I needed to do to at least be able to maneuver today. I got a knee brace on, lacing up my sneakers again, and I'm ready to get back to action with the Atlanta Hawks coming to town. And ATL is right ahead of us in the standings, and you see me there using a little foam roller. I'm trying to get my knee nice and loose for this ball game. So we'll see what type of impact I make. I'm not going to be as fast, not as nimble, but thank goodness I got Mitchell Robinson helping me out in the key, blocking Trae Young, which is not a very easy matchup for me to come back on. But with the pull-up J in transition, all thanks to Mitch there on that possession, I get on the board pretty early here. 6-4 game against ATL, just ahead of us in the standings. A huge home win could really help us out, but ATL getting off to a very nice start, 9 points already for the Hawks, 5 from Trae Young, and meanwhile we only have 2 field goals as a team, trying to make it a third as I give this one off to Julius Randle. Got my first basket, rebound, and now assist as he gets a little fancy underneath the rim. 11-8 game now for Ron. Back to action after he won a 3-point contest as he will put the moves on Drew Holiday, a former teammate of mine. If you guys remember some of my first seasons in the NBA with the Pelicans, he was my backcourt partner, and we traded him due to him not always putting in his best effort in big games. So we see here on Atlanta, now running it with Trae Young, as Ferran will take this one to the cup. Buckle up, everybody. Ferran is coming through, and he's beginning the second half of his season with a surgence here in the first half against at ATL with the rookie trying to cover him. 2 ball fakes looking like MJ, flying up to the cup and dunks it down. That rookie cannot hold Ferran. He's already feeling himself, and with me being hurt and trying my best to contain Trae Young, we're asking a lot out of Ferran tonight, being the main scorer and helping me out with Trae Young on some possessions. As we jump to the second half down by 3, that's going to be a turnover, unfortunately a little bit too tardy on the pass. Young out in transition as we switch the matchup. Another layup is blocked. Thank you, Julius Randle, and he'll find me in transition. Maybe if I was 100% healthy, that would have been a dunk, but instead just laying it up nice and easy. Once again, a little bit gimp on that right knee, dealing with that bone bruise. Now John Collins in the post, turnaround fadeaway, not happening. We're still looking for our first lead of the night, surprisingly, as Ferran will give it up to me, and I got Clint Capella on me. A little bit slower tonight, but I still managed to get my shoulders past him as I put in the layup. 0.7 and 8, and there you have it at the bottom of your screen. The first lead of the night for the New York Knicks, but ATL would quickly retake the lead, not until Ferran has something to say about it. He's playing one of his better games throughout his entire season with the Knicks in this one, and that's saying a lot considering how great Ferran has been. 76-74, Trae Young trying to trap him down low. Thanks to Randle helping me out in the double team, I get to pick up a cheap steal there, and the lob going baseline to the rookie, Cade Cunningham. Lots of highlights in this ball game as we are about halfway through the third quarter, up by 4. Trae Young will try to stop and pop. That one's off the mark. Rebound tipped around to the rookie. And Cade Cunningham, look at this. I point out Ferran in the adjacent corner, and the rookie listens to me. I've talked so much about the chemistry continuing to improve week by week. Cade led the break, and if you had watchful eyes, you saw me pointing to the corner. Cade saw me see Ferran, and then he saw Ferran. So, I mean, it's just little plays like that that really show the strides we've been making on the offensive side of the floor, resulting in a top 6 offense in the NBA despite how young we are as a team. 98-90, our biggest lead of the game, as Ferran wants to take the rookie off the dribble again. Takes him to school for the second time this game. Oh my goodness, Ferran wants to be a part of the dunk contest along with the three-point contest, it seems like. 101-90, we're already in triple figures with a chance to add another basket if we can get a stop here. Even if we don't, we'll still have some time left. Trae Young in the corner, I'm up in his pocket, 3 seconds left to shoot. Trying to contest this shot, and I think Randle got a piece of it. Here we go, 2 seconds left. Ferran up to me from half court, and I'll knock it through. Just one of those games where everything is falling for the Knicks. We are a very dangerous team when we get hot, and I don't know how I made this. I've made it a couple of half-court heaves in my career now. I remember one at Texas I made, and then also last season with the Pelicans, I had one against the Jazz from half court, so pretty interesting that I've made a couple here and there at the end of quarters, and our lead is 14, the biggest of the game, so anything I can do to just make a contribution this game with my injury. Nice steal from Ferran, he's your NBA leader in that category, and Julius Randle feeling himself on the pull-up 3 from the corner with his little signature celebration. And we're starting to open things up here, 112-95. We're approaching a 20-point lead. And look at Cade Cunningham, the freshman from the corner with a very veteran move, taking Bogdanovic off the dribble with a little finger roll finish. Gotta love it from the rookie. 119-103. This game pretty much well in doubt after we had that big explosion. And I'm still wrestling with the ball with Trae Young at the timeline, and I wrestle it away from him. And I eventually pick it up and score. A little scoop and score action there. No dunk, it just lit it up nice and easy. And now with only 2 minutes left in the game, I'll continue to add some points. Trae Young try to pick up a cheap steal in the backcourt, and he gets punished. Great vision from Ferran finding me over the double team. And I had to land very safely there to make sure I did not do anything more to that knee I'm dealing with. 136-123, and with one more chance to score, take a look at Ferran and Julius Randle on this last play. They want to make sure the fans get their money's worth. Julius Randle backdoor. He is reversing it on the Hawks defense, and with Ferran giving him the dime. What a play that is to cap off a memorable night in the Big Apple. Wow, Julius Randle with one of his better performances on the season. Everybody feeling themselves. The bench loves what they see. 138 for the New York Knicks tonight. This was our highest outing throughout the entire season and should only help improve our stats on paper as one of the better NBA offenses across the entire association. A huge win with the Hawks right above us in the standings. This would actually tie us for 6th in the conference with ATL. Ferran with 26, 6 assists. We counted on him tonight with my injury, and he really came through. But I still had 18 and 8 with 5 steals, a season high in steals for me today. Honestly, I outperformed what I thought I was going to do with that knee injury, but it was a little hard to play defense. Trae Young with 42. Ferran tried his best on Trae as well, but he just had a really good night, but didn't matter much in the end. So coming up, I still have a couple more weeks I'll be dealing with the injury, and we have a pretty tough West Coast trip coming up. We're going to simulate all throughout that Phoenix game, beginning with 2 games against the Eastern Conference, back on the road against Cleveland, and we take this game pretty handily. Great second half performance on the defensive side of the floor. Cleveland could only manage 37 second half points, but I came back down to earth a little bit. Only 8 points and 5 assists in that one, and then we take this one on the chin against Boston, 112-86. They snap a pretty lengthy winning streak against our Atlantic Division opponents. Cade Cunningham, 1 for 12 shooting. But then we take another game against the West's second best team, the Clippers, still without Kawhi Leonard, and it didn't matter. 109-99 on the road. Ferran with 25, 7 and 7, one of his most all-around outings. And then 136 against the Los Angeles Lakers and Ferran's former team. No more LeBron, he retired as the Lakers try to put together the pieces. 17 assists for myself. The Lakers really struggling this season. But then we cannot win 3 straight in the West home or road trip. We dropped this game against Chef Curry by a single point, very tough loss. But after that Golden State game, I would return to full health to end this West Coast trip against the Phoenix Suns. And this is a game that I know Ferran's very excited for against his one of his favorite players growing up. You guys know him, he's a big Kyrie guy, but as we got older, he really took a shine to Devin Booker. You see those two dapping up before the game. I know this is a very important game for Ferran. Right now, Phoenix is 5th in the Western Conference, and they have a very similar record to us. They're currently 35 and 27, as Cade Cunningham will begin this game with 5 straight points. Love to see it from the rookie. It's really been a treat to watch, to see him come into his own. When we began this season, he just kind of had to find his bearings a little bit. Nice job, Julius Randle, giving me my first assist, using the ball on the floor, putting it on the deck, and scoring off the dribble. But Cade Cunningham really had some trouble finding some consistency, but now he's really developed into his own player, which is just great to see. And here we go with Ferran off a screen, going on one-on-one against Devin Booker. Look at that Park move he put on his idol, and he will go to the cup for a 3-point play, count the basket, give my hometown buddy the continuation. We got off to a pretty good start in the Atlanta game, and that would continue here against Phoenix. We're trying to go 3-1, have a winning record here in the West Coast trip of 4 games. Right now we're 2-1, and with this win tonight, we can take 3 out of 4 here in the West Coast against some very good Western Conference opponents. 14-8 game as now Ferran picks up the loose piece of candy against Devin Booker, and then Julius Randle flies down the lane for yet another lob finish. I've thrown so many to him this season, and we'll jump ahead a little bit here in the second quarter. A Baker's dozen lead for the Knicks, and another great start for us as Ferran takes this pass, and he would find me backdoor. A very crisp play. Nice pass from Ferran. He's thrown a couple this episode that have been really good. 40-25 game, and this has just been an awesome performance thus far. As we move forward a little bit now, DeAndre Ayton tries to pick me up, double move on him, and then I get deep into my bag for this take to the cup. Gotta go in a replay mode for that. This is a drive I could not have done with my knee injury, playing hurt. Double clutch reverse on Jay Crowder, who came over for the weak side block, but it was not happening. Using my body to protect the orange, and that is a beautiful take, as I'm up to 6 points and 3 assists. A decent first half showing, however, Chris Paul, such a high IQ player, and then this is where Phoenix really started to go on a run. We had DeAndre Ayton dead to rights, and then I close out on CP3, a perfectly defended possession, but Phoenix thought otherwise. So the Suns continue to close the gap, now only down by 5 with 3:22 left to go in the first half as Randall is fouled on the layup against Crowder. And this would be where I check out. I had a pretty up and down first half, some nice plays, but a lot of turnovers thus far. I had 4 going into the first half break as I would check out for the second unit. Toppin knocks and quickly come in, and Phoenix would continue building on that momentum and knot things up at 53 apiece as we head into the second half. As we continue to try to win this West Coast trip, this would be a huge win on the road. So 53 apiece, and the biggest reason why we've had trouble keeping Phoenix off our tail is DeAndre Ayton. He had a first half double-double with 12 and 10. Now he's got 14 and 11. Mitchell Robinson getting dogged this game thus far. And I also haven't had very many opportunities to shoot the rock. That's my first jump shot I've attempted here in the second half. But we do get it back, and Ferran wants to go back to the rim again, making sure we don't mess up this second opportunity on that possession. How often do you see Devin Booker getting outplayed like this? Ferran came prepared to play against his rival tonight, or his idol, not rival. But he's enjoying a good one tonight, up by 4 now. Ayton continues, though, to slaughter us inside, and immediately responds with a 3-point basket of his own as he chips in the free throw. And in comes Obi Toppin off the bench, subbing in for Julius Randle, who's also had a pretty tough game in this one. Toppin's definitely been our best bench player as I pick up a steal on Crowder, who continues to have a tough game. And then in transition, Toppin, the high flyer, doesn't dunk this one down. He instead goes with a little finesse as I throw that lob from nearly half court. 3-point advantage for the Knicks. Here we go with Toppin on the very next possession, nearly missing out on a 3-point play, as I would make my exit here from the third quarter of action as I go back to the bench. Hopefully the bench unit can hold Phoenix a little bit. They've gotten hot, but as I check back in the fourth quarter, the Suns taking control a little bit with their biggest lead of the game, as Devin Booker will find some space off the dribble handoff from CP3. Booker wants to make amends after getting his butt whooped a little bit by Ferran thus far. 96-85, getting a little bit here into the danger zone. I'm not really having a great game either, as Cade Cunningham, with the shot clock dwindling, wants to go to work. 3 seconds left, backdoor feed once again, beating CP3 backdoor for the second time tonight, but he has kept me off the stat sheet a little bit. Only 10 and 4, along with way too many turnovers tonight for myself. And you'd be surprised to learn that us Knicks were actually the best team in terms of turnovers per game, only averaging around 12 per night. That's the NBA's most efficient team in limiting turnovers, but there you go with DeAndre Ayton again scoring. 109-100. We're still sticking around, but we just cannot get stops on the defensive side of the floor. And then when you got Jay Crowder, who's been struggling all game making shots like that, there's really not much you can do. So our great start to this game goes all for naught as Phoenix picks up a big home win, 116-107. They survive the New York Knicks. Ferran with 22 and a very good night. However, we were all kind of struggling there in the second half for a little while, and so did he. Obi Toppin with 17, probably the best player on the floor tonight for us. 14, 6, and 6, and guess what, guys? I set a career high in turnovers. I had 9 tonight, man. Way too many turnovers, and this was not how I expected my first game fully healthy back to go. Meanwhile, DeAndre Ayton, 27 and 27 assists, a career night on Mitchell Robinson. And I did only hold Chris Paul to 4 of 13 shooting, so that's probably one of the lone bright spots, honestly. So as we dive into the Eastern Conference playoff picture, we got 14 games left on the schedule here in Season 5. We tied right now with the Hawks as they lost 2, so we're both tied for the 5th spot. And Toronto is 4th, and you know what that means. The 4th seed means that they have home court advantage right now in the Eastern Conference, and that's that last home court seed. So this is a very important game coming up as we head back home after that 9 turnover game. You can see me. I give some dap to Ferran and Cade, but I'm already in my game where I had some early shots, I was getting up, and I'm ready to come back home after going 2-2 in the Western Conference road trip just now. And we host the Toronto Raptors, as they currently lead us by a game and a half in the standings. So a game tonight could really help us out trying to make a push for that 4th seed and aka home court advantage for the NBA playoffs. So this is a huge game tonight in terms of the standings. So here we go back at home, and who else but Cade Cunningham, with how hot he's been, would start us off, putting on a double move against OG, and then the roll man Mitchell Robinson. What a pass. He finds him for the first basket of this ball game. Right now, the Toronto Raptors going up against Kyle Lowry, averaging 16 points per game on the season, as I go with a little teardrop against Lowry. He did not move teams here in the fictional NBA. Him and the Toronto Raptors worked it out, and they're one of the better teams in the East this season here in Season 5. We score the first 2 here in the ball game, but Kyle Lowry, with those broad shoulders, he's so hard to stop inside the post, and he'll get the Raptors on the board in this one. Right now, the Toronto Raptors, a pretty interesting split right now for their record. They're 24-14 at home, but 21-13 on the road. So a very good road team as we welcome them to MSG tonight. And Ferran fumbles the catch a little bit, but gets me on the board for my first assist. No problems that time. 14-11, the Toronto Raptors allow only 99.7 points per game, so that is a top 3 NBA defense as we continue to make it rain here in the early going. So we're lighting up this top 3 defense. The Raptors are only one of 3 teams to let up only 100 or less points a night. So this is a very good defense that we are taking advantage of. Here we go with Mitchell Robinson. He's definitely frustrated too after getting exposed against DeAndre Ayton last game out. And with already 19 team points, Nick Nurse wants to talk it over with his Toronto Raptors. And just the fact that we're putting on this good of an offensive start against a top 3 defense, that really bodes well moving forward as we move into the second quarter now, up 31-24. We get the stop there on Aaron Baines missing the 3 ball, coming back the other way. As I put a little move on Kyle Lowry, I get him lost, and then a flashy pass to Ferran gives it right back to me, so I have to get a little bit creative there off my back foot. Ferran picks up the assist. I get 0.7 and 8. So I like the way this game is starting out for me and my teammates, but only up by 3. It was only a matter of time before Toronto got things going on offense. As for On, no hesitation there. He faked like he was going to use that screen, but he caught Fred VanVleet really not expecting that tray ball to be pulled. So 39-33, going up against Kyle Lowry there as he steps it back, no good. Another defensive stop. Ferran leads the break. We don't really have numbers, but he wants to get a little creative right here. Watch this. Beautiful hesitation on Fred VanVleet, and more 3-point buckets for Ferran. That's back-to-back 3-point possessions, all thanks to my hometown buddy. 42-35 now. This is a huge game, and we are really playing like it. I force another stop on Kyle Lowry, who has not scored on me this entire game. He had 12 when I was off the floor. You saw what I was trying to do there, trying to go no look to Cade Cunningham, but OG fouls me, and the bench comes in and, unfortunately, don't hold up their side of the bargain. Somehow Toronto comes storming back and retakes the lead by a single point. You saw the look on Ferran's face. That really said it all as we jump to this second half rather. That's pretty disappointing. Down by 3, looking for a way to spark another fire in this team. Little dribble handoff to Cade Cunningham, puts OG in a blender, taking it all the way strong. And 1, Cade Cunningham. He would knock down the free throw, and this has been such a great episode for Cade, man. So excited for what he brings to the table, especially when the playoffs come around. I'm excited. 55-52, skip pass. Cade has another one in him. He will tie it up almost single-handedly. Cade Cunningham. He's trying to win that Rookie of the Year and win some huge games for the Knicks down the stretch. Not often you see a top 3 pick able to make this much of a contribution for a playoff team. So 58-57, 9 minutes to go, only 3 minutes off the clock here in the second half. And there we go, finally a jump shot is made. Ever since my injury, I haven't really taken any jump shots, so getting that one to go could do me very well in the long run. You guys know I've been struggling a little bit this episode, but that might serve me well going forward. Now 5 seconds left on this possession, in need of a bucket. Boban Marjanovic checks in, and I deliver him an assist as he tips it in. Love to see it. Boban was a very big pickup as we struggle on the boards as a team, so whenever he checks in, that really helps. 71-65 Toronto with their biggest lead of the entire contest, and that would jump from 6 to 12. The bench does not do their part again. Toronto doubles their lead, and once again, just like the Phoenix game, we have some adversity here heading into the fourth quarter. Will we step up and try to make a comeback, or will we fall apart? Unfortunately, we fell apart. Kyle Lowry with the steal on Mitchell Robinson, and this quickly turned into a game where we just could not manage any stops. Our 16th team turnover was Mitchell Robinson giving it up there. 106-91 as Fred VanVleet. Look at this drive right here, but finally we force a stop. Feels like the first time we forced Toronto into a miss all fourth quarter, and Ferran continues to play well. There's assist number 10. It's been a minute since I got in the double figures dishing the rock, which is, kind of weird for me. 15-point game as I continue to try to make plays for my teammates, but VanVleet, he will pick off that lob, and Lowry, nice feed to the corner for OG, who spots up and knocks it through. 15-5. Toronto run, and that would really be the icing on the cake for the boys from the 6, and a little bit of frustration from me right here as I go backdoor and dunk one down, and I'm complaining to the ref, which is something I don't normally do. Just a lot of frustration. If you guys know, one thing about me is I'm kind of afraid for the playoffs. And this is the biggest reason why, there's just times where we just cannot get stops, and it's pretty frustrating. Still a very young team, it's natural we still have some growing pains, but at the end of the day, that could really be what kills us. I mean, there's just times where we just cannot get stops, and the offense has made great strides, and it looked like we were really coming around on defense too, but unfortunately, in the last couple weeks, ever since my injury, the defensive side of the ball has got kind of ugly for us, even in the wins. So Kyle Lowry didn't have many points this game, but if there's one thing he did do was he got me into foul trouble. And that 3-point play by Kyle Lowry would be my disqualifying foul. I went to the bench for the rest of the game, and Toronto takes this game by 10 points, 128-118. Again, a team gets high in the triple figures against us, and just another ugly game. But Ferran still played well. He had a really good episode, and I had a pretty bad one up until this game. Played good defense on Lowry, had a double-double, and it was just a very vintage Johnny Fitz game. And unfortunately, I had that early exit in the fourth quarter, or else it would have been a fourth quarter to remember. I had 8 points and 2 assists in only 6 minutes. Cade Cunningham played well. Julius Randle with a double-double. He turned it around from the Phoenix game. But Fred VanVleet just could not get stops on him or the rest of his Toronto teammates there in the second half. And that's definitely been our Achilles heel. We have to improve that and improve our rebounding going forward. Those are really the two wild cards for our team moving forward, and we could have a very early exit if we do not find our bearings in the rebounding and on defense. So this has been a pretty up and down episode. We're still in the thick of it in the Eastern Conference standings, and look at Deshaun's Mavericks. They jump Denver and LA to become the top dogs in the West. Meanwhile, Portland and Donnie, they're around 500. Man, they have really fallen off. I really appreciate you guys coming to the channel today. I'm glad I could have you, and I'll give you a little prelude for next episode as well. So we'll begin with a game against the Washington Wizards after we simulate 2 weeks, and we'll see my college rival Jerome Clifford in the very good Wizards team, and then Game 82, of course, against the defending champions and Josh Hart. And then we'll also be hopping into my highly anticipated return to New Orleans. We faced the Pelicans once this season already at home, and we beat them pretty good. But I don't think I'll be met with many warm feelings whenever we face the Pelicans next episode. I'm expecting a lot of boos with the way my Pelicans tenure ended last offseason. So that's very exciting. I'm really going to have to put the blinders on and just play my game for that one. So I can't wait to the next episode. We're going to be wrapping up Season 5. This is a pretty up and down one, but I still like where the team's headed. And we're 3.5 games away from Toronto in the very coveted 4th seed, and we're also tied with Atlanta for the 5th seed, so it's a logjam right now in the middle of the Eastern Conference. So that's going to heat up next episode. We'll see where we finish. Hope to see you there. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. I'm signing out. Take care, everybody.